What is going on, everyone? Astrology Eric Rosen for Celestial Conversations from Chaos to Clarity. This is the weekly astrology horoscope where I look at the bigger transits of the astrology to kind of give you the 411 on what's coming for the week ahead. I do this on Wednesdays and kind of get you through that midweek point to the Wednesday of the following week. So call this astrology from August 13th until August 20th of 2025. It's been a crazy fast moving year, but I'm feeling a little under the weather today. I had a lot of travel, had to go get a passport, leaving the country this week. Did some crystal mining with my son. It's been quite the eventful turn, but a very beneficial, prosperous Jupiter in Venus and Cancer conjunction for me personally in a lot of areas of my personal life, but the South Node is in Virgo, so you got to watch how much we overdo it. So, but I'm here. If you do want to book a astrology reading, of course, as always, reach out. I'll drop that link somewhere nearby the video. And I still have not officially announced a date yet for the Higher Self Rising Group Coaching program because I wanted to wait to see if a few more people wanted to come in and join that. I do have one more spot available at the $297 per month price point. So that is the group coaching that I do on Zoom, where you get laser coaching from me and some teaching and some insight that is kind of a similar thing that people get from me working in coaching healing containers and some consistent support and integration. So that is, of course, available too. That link will be down below. And then, of course, if you want to get that astrology ebook that I put out for studying your natal chart, that'll be available as well. Let's church it up, shall we? Let's talk astrology. Let's talk about how amazing and stupendous it is. And is it though? I mean, I think we're getting spoiled, personally. And there's so many different frequencies to connect to in ways that I'm going to describe this, and I'm probably going to relate it through my personal lens too of how I've experienced it. But it's almost like we're getting spoiled by, in a good way, some really rare outer planetary transits, the outer spiritual planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto. They're still making friendly aspects to each other. The sacred geometry that is astrology, that astrologers look to be like, is this a challenge point? Is this an opportunity for growth, right? Is this something more harmonious and beneficial and supportive? And of course, I know people like that. It is dealing with outer planets though. So it's like the benefits come from the spiritual expansionary, seeing behind the veil, beyond the veil standpoint, but it can feel rough when we get disconnected spiritually. And I think that's the big driving factor, especially with that South Node in Virgo. I can get caught up in that, just lethargy of just reality, whereas that North Node's pulling us into way more of this spiritual place and asking us to be visionaries, to sense and see and have that sixth sense of things and really go in these positive directions that are outer planetary. It's Saturn and Neptune retrograde still at the beginning of Aries, and it's kind of going sure, it can be hard to gear up and really assert an authentic sense of self and to not want to hesitate or have sensitivities or be like, I don't know how this is going to work out, and just never being able to run the exact calculation, unsure of the risk. It's a part of it. Saturn in Aries always teaches us that you kind of just got to let it fly and see what happens. You have to move in a direction no matter how heavy it could feel, or especially on Neptune, unsure of the responsibility that comes with that, the work that comes with that. But Neptune's kind of opening it up a little bit to kind of go hey, you can become a better, brighter version of self just by going and giving it a try, running the experiment of the nice aspects that it's making to Pluto and Aquarius, to Uranus and Gemini. So it's a lot around communication, people, connections, those orientations. And so that's a very broad scope, but that's a good thing because it opens it up to the positivity. You go, well, maybe we've all explored a lot and we know a lot, and there's a lot of information that we've gathered about ourselves. Maybe it's like, for example, studying your astrology or human design, or you learn this about yourself through this pattern or through this, or a relationship thing or a job thing or a people thing. But then how to like connect it all together can feel super complex, but that's because it can't be forced. It all fits together when there's this intuitive place, and that is the calculation, is actually going, is this coming more from my higher self, my intuitive side, probably equipped through the cycles of astrology and human design, to where it all lines up more synchronistically, like being in the right environments, right timing, right people, like just, you know, I think I mentioned it last week. It was like, someone was like, hey, when I come to Mexico, I was like, sure. And then 2 hours later, it was like, the exact money like came in to like pay for the airfare, and then like a few days later I was like, well, I gotta get a passport. My passport expired in 2016, and then like that exact money came in, and it's not like it's like, oh, I need this money, but it was just like the universe's way of validating the synchronicity. It's like, yeah, we want you to fucking go take a break. It's Jupiter and Venus and Cancer, right? So it's like, who am I to argue with the universe? Like, you want me to go relax and vacation? Okay. But sometimes we think that we know with Saturn in Aries, like, no, like it's got to be like this way, and the control, and it could be like the survival element. Neptune's asking us to kind of like face that fear, sensitivity of like it not going well, and just kind of a little bit of like fuck around, find out, like, but it's more so like not in that like pop culture sense of fuck around and find out. It's more in like the go see if your intuition is working, go see if it's on point, like go manifest and put the possibilities out to the universe of like the things that you want to create. Now, what's really interesting about all this is that while it's very positive that Jupiter and Venus are down in Cancer, even though their conjunction is officially over, Venus is past Cancer, and we'll be separating from it more this week, they're still in that same zone. So there's a self-care aspect to this for sure. There's a very divine feminine like way of like needing to rest and recuperate and regenerate, and see that, you know, it's a little overwhelming if we are telling ourselves like stories that aren't like rooted in, yes, we're of course worthy of rest, we're worthy of taking care of ourselves, we're worthy of good relationships and money situations that like allow our personal life to expand, to feel good, to create more of a solid spiritual ground in ourselves, not just like energetically, but physically, emotionally, like really the whole 9 yards. And so it's been a beautiful transit like of that. And so even with all these possibilities that are present, a lot of it is looking at it like going, okay, well, it's outer spiritual planets opening up the freedom aspect of things for possibilities. So it's not the ego and the force and like going like Wolf of Wall Street or something on like some crypto shit or some tech shit. It's more so like the intuition and the feel-good energy has to be there. And like that's where the possibilities are at. It's the red tape lifting that's gone for the people that connect with that spiritual essence. Now, what would be a detractor? It would be, you know, beliefs that are too sensitive and don't like feel a sense of like worth and value, and kind of like reject like the gifts that can like really come in right now, and or the criticisms, the judgments of saying, no, I don't like the way this looks, or I don't like where people are at, or they're saying this thing, or what society's doing, or a tech thing. And it's like, well, it's neutral. There's a neutral space here in this astrology to just go like, well, it takes on the energy of the vibration that you're giving it. Someone said to me the other day that it was like, this is like spiritual rhetoric. It's like, hey, words have power, words have meaning. It's like, the word is not more powerful than me or you or anyone. Like, words have the power and the energy of what we give it. It just tends to have a collective energy because most people form these unconscious agreements of what that word means. So it's kind of like anything that's going on, conversations that people are having, like the things people are talking about, whether that's your personal life or collectively. It's just taking on the collective charge that we're giving it. So it's like, even if you're like in doubt in these like weird in between spaces that Saturn Neptune especially continues to create at the beginning of the zodiac in Aries, it's going, well, let me give like the more positive, more like optimistic, beneficial, ascension minded like space of seeing like where is not even the silver lining, it's bigger than that. It's like the silver runway. Like, where can you land your energy? Like, where is a landing zone in community and places in the world that allows you to receive your energy fully, that allows you to be fully authentic, right? And it's not about perfection. It's certainly definitely not about getting everyone to like you, right? So apply that to like every area of life. But it's also not the astrology to like get into conflicts or, you know, putting the energy in the wrong department. I always say that the misguided use of Leo energy, which Mercury is now direct in Leo, and we're wrapping up Leo season, the misdirected use of that energy is drama. Like it's drama. It's like the fiery, intense, like I have passion, but I don't know how to direct it from my heart. And so then it gets into conflict. So this very much does like bring up this, like, as we're going through this week and the intensity that Leo energy builds, that it's like just a moral ground check-in. Do you know what your passion is? Do you know how to be humble and expressive and creative, and to put that energy into a positive space of things? Now, let's talk about like if there's feeling like things aren't working or there's a lack of energy or a lack of vitality, I would immediately go to like where are things out of balance in life, because that Mars is in Libra. And so when it comes to the identification of what it is and the marching orders of like where we're meant to go, we have to be okay with keeping an even keel and playing both sides of it. So that's why it's not one thing or the other of just go Wolf of Wall Street on stuff, nor is it just like sleeping for 15 hours every day, right? There's a teaching element that's really happening in the astrology that's going, there is no real exact curriculum, routine story of how to live life. It's really training us to start to follow more and more every week, the closer we get to 2027, how to honor those ebbs and flows of our energy cycles. And I think the best way to deprogram the mind's way of trying to lead things of like what it should be, or overcomplicating like the thinking of things, especially like in the drama zones, or, you know, things around passion, love, kids, romance, like those sort of things, is like go more into that vibrational frequency of the emotion, to kind of like fast track the understanding of like what is occurring, because those pulses lead us more into the frequency alignment for things to work out. Because if we're, you know, drowning out the emotions and it's too much, or it feels positive but we don't know what to do with all those emotions, Jupiter, Venus, and then we're like overthinking it, it's like it produces even more hesitation, that Saturn Neptune, and then it can just produce a lot of like, I would call it like positive stimulus of like thinking and contemplating those possibilities of that sextile to Uranus and Gemini, and also the trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius to that Saturn Neptune retrograde in Aries, that it's like it's looking at too many possibilities, but then like nothing's happening. Like I had the realization that it was like, okay, my mind's going to all these places and happiness and excitement and all these like possibilities. And then I had to have the reality check, which was like, the mind is the only thing that's disconnected from the body's design and human design, meaning it's the dweeb that thinks that it knows what is up, and it's actually the thing that knows jack shit. Our aura knows, our being knows, like the solar plexus, our authority in human design. Like it's the essence of our energy. And so that's what all the like hard work's been since 2019 for everybody, is to like deprogram the mind and the functionalities of false matrix systems that we even personally get imprisoned in because we created our own governing program to try to like regulate reality. And then that stuff's like not working, right? And so that produces the struggle, the delays. And so it's following this understanding that if the mind doesn't know, it's like, well, what does? It's like the instinctual evidence that's more somatic. And you'll hear me continue to beat the drum for the human design piece of it, because we're at such a heightened level. And I even say this as an astrologer, where my astrology is my fucking go-to, like through and through. But it's like the simplification whenever like things have become like at a crescendo moment where there's so many avenues and possibilities, but also uncertainties and uncharted territories and stuff like that. The mind can jerk off all day long to like piecing the puzzle together, you know, but at the end of the day, it's always like the success blueprint is following the strategy and authority in human design. You know, there's an anti-self thesis in there though too, with AKA the ego. So it's like everyone's different, but it's like sometimes when, as I'm going through my deconditioning process still, it's like, okay, like I'm dropping into my sacral, which is my authority, but then I feel the resistance because it feels like letting go of control, very South Node Virgo. It's like letting go of control, you know, or like being mad because like I'm not going to get what I want or something, right? So it's like that's tapping into like this personal piece, but kind of astrology related too, with that being Leo season and that Mercury that's now direct and it's post shadow in Leo, that also is that ruler of Virgo, that South Node is at, that it's like this inner child response of like, well, if I don't do it this way and the way that my mind was wired, you know, I'm not going to get what I want. Like it's a very endgaming thing. There's no more endgaming. So it's like this really weird recipe of like what we're in, and we're getting the arcade version at least until the end of the month when Saturn goes back into Pisces retrograde. That, and even then, like the outer planets for a moment are still in their new signs before they retrograde back. Not Pluto though. And it's like, it's this new energy. It's just like this new frontier, and it's like it's unknown, and there's an excitement, a possibility, and you can't control it. It's like the realm of possibility of doing all these things. I'll say it again. It's not the ego. It's not force. It's the, oh, you mean that like I have the ability to tune into my higher dimensional self and my frequency. So this brings up the ultra importance of energetic hygiene, good rest, water, nutrition, the whole 9 yards, because we're just oozing out and just spilling out with that South Node in Virgo all the old just shit that's not serving us. And maybe that's partly why I'm like under the weather right now, right? It's like it's a release period of sorts. And so I think moderating our energy, tuning into our frequency, it's just like, you know, a TV station or, you know, radio station, more modern would be like the YouTube channel you watch, right? Like the frequency of an online gamer versus, I don't know, an astrologer, it's going to be a way different vibe, you know? So it's like, it's all about really the frequency. And so the frequencies are beneficial of what we connect to, number one, and ourselves and others, when it's real, when it's authentic, right? It's not gimmicky. I see a lot of that out there, like the whole like illusion of like marketing and like just like do this and it'll work. Like systems don't work. If the system isn't like, hey, how to be a fucking badass, like that, you know, knows just like what to do, like from within yourself, and it's like this outer template of like, oh, go do all this stuff. Do you think in any of my coaching containers I ever have a curriculum that's like, oh yeah, like this is my master thing, like I do this with everyone and it works? Fuck no. Like the formula is the person, because it's all about taking people back to their inner authority. And that's why 2020 and beyond blew up in our face to be like, Here's what it looks like when you give your energy and power away to outer authority systems telling you what to do. They don't fucking really care. They do not have your best interest at heart. Period. Not a politician, doesn't matter who it is. It just, you cannot give that away. That's like the shadow king energy of just like, here, you tell me what to do. More safety, more comfort. It reminds me of like, this astrology really reminds me of like, do you want to be like in a job, just tell me what to do? Or do you want to be what can feel like a 13-year-old in like some old time period where this was normal, that's like shaking in their boots, like that was just given a plot of land and farm, and be like, hey, you've figured some stuff out, you've watched me do it, now you go do it. And so this brings up the unconscious piece of, I'm not ready yet. And then I'm not ready yet, for anyone that feels that, whether it's like, I'm not ready, I don't have enough of this, like there again, more of that false persuasion of hesitation of Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Aries, that it's that inner dilemma. And it's like, that's just the unspoken elephant in the room, which is that we've all got to go back to the hidden corridor and the weird haunted house with Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, and then Uranus and Taurus, even though Uranus and Taurus is more like going back to the pasture that we thought was depleted of nutrition and soil. And there's like still like one crop left growing there, but it's like the exact fucking thing that we need to like sit with and eat that's going to heal us. So AKA getting our value systems like straightened out for anywhere that we like deviate from that, right? Because without those spiritual value commitments, like if the intuition's ever off and there's still deconditioning happening in the human design, it becomes a slippery slope where everything can become a distraction. So there's a self-assuredness of a you know, acceptance that things can always like work out with things, but it comes from a place of embodiment, of a continuous, not self-development, fix it, Mr. Fix It, Mrs. Fix It attitude, but more so like I feel it. I feel that it's going to be good. Like, come on, like Jupiter, Venus, like these outer planetary alignments, like it takes tuning into the energy, but it's like if you can get out of the noise of the environment and the stress or anything going on in life and really tune into it and just like be patient and like tune your focus to that, that's like very receptive. It's very, very beautiful, expansive, positive thing. But like, what's the seduction? It's to just like get caught up in the woodwork of shitty details of reality or job or my routine or like what I'm doing next activity wise. And there's no purity there. Like if anything, it's like, it might sound weird, but it's like a South Node Virgo. It's like it creates the filth by like not going into the spiritual purification of like following our divine code. Like the mind is like, oh yeah, like we're going to like Hogwarts, fucking Diagon Alley, but then it like it's going to like the worst place where you're like getting shivved and shit, like energetically, because the mind's trying to be stimulated by something and then it carries it off in a direction. So that applies to like the content that we're watching, that applies to like basic stuff where it's like that stimulus moment of like, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to go get this. And it's like, hang on, like filter that through your intuition, like right place, right time, like let the synchronicities come to you, you know? And I think that if we can play with the curiosity, like even more so of like how things just can like work out and we don't have to like go to some like crazy place that we think is going to like fill us up. It's actually a wasteland because it's not really intuitively led. It's probably from the mind. Like we can get the things that are like meant for us. And it might seem small at first, or like, well, yeah, this is cool, but it's like, you know, I don't know, it'd be like, universe, I ordered a pair of shoes, but I got my favorite pizza or something. It's like, okay, well, just keep repeating the process of like being in spiritual alignment and just keep like getting the gifts and the connections and the conversations and things to work out. So for anyone who's like you gotta struggle with like a creative project or some like, you know, job, financial situation, it's like not syncing up, I would immediately go to the human design piece, stop doing everything up here, work with a practitioner to heal, decondition that shit. If you want to keep running the mental masturbation thinking that that's going to work, because it doesn't. Like, maybe before 2019 it did, but it just mixed results since then. And even then, it's like, it reminds me of like, you got like getting the thing, but like, did you give a part of yourself away to like the devil? You know, it was a very Pluto and Capricorn thing, right? It's like, yeah, I got the thing, but I had to make a deal with someone, and it was like dark shadiness, like type thing. So it's like, we have to like look at this as like, how do we stay pure of heart, pure vibration, to accept that like we don't always like know the exact best thing that humanity needs right now. Like no one has that exact truth or that exact code. It's really just like this super basic thing of like, it reminds me like, what's the opposite of like a narcissistic movie star actor? It's you know, that's like just the values and virtues aren't there, because virtue is a big thing right now, and it's in all this, and it's like the opposite would be like, I don't know, someone that's just like kind of service, like helpful, curious, like pensive, like doesn't act like they're in some position that they've like made it in reality. It's kind of like how do we all stay flexible, just supportive of each other, and just like real, you know? And so I don't understand it when people like come out like strong in their egos right now and like asserting like some dominance or like something where it's like, there's no certainty of anything in like this year and next year, and like the only thing I'm certain of is the beauty that's coming in 2027, but the beauty that's also here right now because of these out of planetary alignments, but how it's also going to like disappear like that, and then it could seem like a missed opportunity, but it's not. It's more just like it's okay, it'll come back. Like, just, you know, reminds me of like, hey, everyone's coming over for dinner, and then it's like, oh no, there's a delay. Okay, put the pots on, like try to keep the food warm. We'll heat it up when it's like ready. When the people are ready, the situations are ready. So that, metaphorically speaking, is like, if you're have an idea, you're stimulated by some cool creative thing right now, what are the levels? Like, one, you know, it's the ethereal, imaginal realm of possibility and manifesting in the metaverse like that, right? Like just putting it out there. And then the other one is like the synchronicities of the connections, conversations, and supportive use of, yeah, just communication technology to create it. But then if it feels like it hits a wall or like there's a limitation and it's not ready yet, it was not a wrong turn. It's just like it's okay. We've got to go put our consciousness in this area, in that Pisces zone, in that Taurus zone, which is actually really beautiful energy. You know, like we'll have, you know, before the end of the year, it's like these nice sextiles at the end of Pisces to Taurus, and so that is fucking spiritual manifestation central. So it's like, it's actually a godsend, right? So it's like, if something's not feeling sturdy or spiritually valued and alignment, or is like, I'm doing this, but I'm thinking about this, but something's off, I'm not sure, just don't force it. Like, treat this as like a playful, curious process. Like when it comes to the healing or like shadow work, blah, 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 it's like, it doesn't have to be so goddamn serious, right? I mean, personally, it's like, it's very, very North Node in Pisces, but also Jupiter, Venus in Cancer. It's like the feels and like it can feel like like, I'll put it to you this way. It's like the overall astrology of how I experience it. And I talk about this week to week, where it's like negative vibes, frequencies are getting projected. It's noisy out there. It can be. It's like insurrection of energy, stuff that's like not me, like, but that stuff that like comes into my field, and it's a vibrational match for the anti-self. So this is where it's like, it's not really about like heavy shadow work. It doesn't have to be heavy doses of plant medicine or go do all these things. This curriculum, again, it becomes the dark side of that self-development, South Node in Virgo. It's this, how to just decondition to not like believe in these false, dramatic, conflicting thoughts that are the trickster energy of Mercury and South Node of Virgo, that take us down a path of believing that stuff and choosing consciously to lower our frequency and fucking hanging out with our lower self, hanging out with that anti-self, right? So it's like the work is the deconditioning. Like anything right now that again, I'll say it again, it's like there's so many modalities of healing, and they're all beautiful, they're all great, and supportive curriculums and all these things. But at the end of the day, like, if it's not like how to release all the garbage that was not connected to the higher dimensional frequencies and the stuff that like cannot be there if we ever actually experience like true contact, which I think we will, like from our star family origins, ETs, like actually like I want to be able to actually stand in front of an Arcturian that I've worked with and actually be on that vibrational energy to like hold that space. But it's like these lower dimensional frequencies, this soup that we've all been baking in for at least the whole like past century at a minimum. It's like being okay with letting that go. But of course, that's not sexy. It's hard to market. It's like, well, everyone can just go out and get rich, and it's fucking sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? Like money, and that stuff is just, it's like, sure, like leverage beauty, leverage the financial end of it, but to like make a giant dent in like an opening, almost like blasting a fucking hole in the side of the Death Star in Star Wars, and like the societal corruption that still tries to like play out and dupe people, so that more and more people just not are waking up from like the old school, like getting in people's faces and didn't work anyway, but it's more so like the frequency wake up, where it's just like, you're just in your frequency and you're just doing your thing, and it's just like you're vibing, and like, like that synchronizing with the natural flow of the universe is like creating like a pathway in the collective consciousness for people waking up. So it's like more like kind of like indirect in a weird way, and it's just like where we play our part. And so it's kind of weird because it's like it's this humble piece of like the frequency. You don't have to reach 1 million people. You don't have to like save all your friends and family. You don't have to make $1 million. Like, you don't have to like go out and do all these like things that probably by the end of next year we're gonna be like, wow, that was a monstrosity. It's like, yeah, I know we talked about the dark side of, I don't know, capitalism or corporations or whatever, and I'm not putting them all down, but I'm just saying like everything has like an equal opposite, right? And like going like, wow, yeah, like shit, like where do we do that to ourselves, like too, where we like chase the same things, like power and money. Thanks, Sarah, appreciate that. Glad to have you here. And so it becomes this thing of like, it's just walking the walk. And because it's easy for people to see now where people are at, it's like the whole, your frequency is like your code, like it's not, This might sound weird, but it's not the words you say or the expression on your face. It's the frequency. It's the intentionality. And so where the human part meets it too, where it doesn't have to be perfect, where it's like, oh my God, you're so high frequency. It's not even meant to be that. That would be like kind of weird at this point, but it's like the frequency is good, the vibe's good, but then also there's the human humble nature of like being okay in the messiness and the transparency and the whole, you know, just like showing up and being okay with that like authentic spiritual side of self. Chiron in Aries is not going away yet, not anytime soon. So it's like, what could feel like the ugly knuckling in the room of our identity, of our persona. It's like, we're here to like, at this point, the mastery is rock that shit. Be like, hey, here's what happens. Like so like in my chart, it's like 12th house, 4th house. So it's like very emotional. It's like, I have parts of my day where I'm just like, oh my God, like sensitive past situations and emotions. And it's just like sharp and sensitive, but then like I always get to the other side of it. But that's what makes me a shaman too. I walk the path of the shaman. It's like I go and do that because it's like it's alchemizing the frequency. Like I personally, I guess I'll be my own drum. I don't use like substances. I don't drink, smoke weed, take medications. Like if I take stuff like, it's medicinal. If I do plant medicine, you know, or if I've like done ketamine or something, like it's always like because it intuitively showed up on my path, because it synchronized with my frequency and my being, and it led me to that next level of understanding with myself. You know, so I eat really clean, you know, but then like stuff still comes up. It's South Node Virgo. It's like, it's still not perfect. So I just want to say that because it's like, there's nothing about trying to perfect the reality or getting duped into like well, if I go do all these things, it's going to feel great someday. It's like, someday is here now. Like, it doesn't get more futuristic. Your future is here now than this. And I know it can be really weird because like, well, wait, like, what do I do? There's no training manual. There's no guidance. And so that's where we have to let the curiosity lead. That's where we have to let things sync up. That's where we have to be fucking brave and courageous as all get up and kind of feel, you know, it's like the cowboy in the saloon or cowgirl. And it's like, hey, like blah, blah, blah is going down. And it's like, you get up and you go. It's like you act, you know. It's not the like, well, hang on, let me paint my toenails first, or let me, you know, trim my nails first, or like, it's like very just like detailed, you know, health, just ish appearance stuff. It's like, it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be real. It's meant to be authentic. So appreciate you all. I'm going to pull a card here to wrap up, but links will be available for astrology readings, higher self, rising group coaching, that monthly program I'm doing. Definitely check it out. And then also the ebook if you're more of a self-study person. But go out, like get it, like please be open to community. Like, you know, connections. Like it's not about searching for some person that's going to unlock all the doors. This is not the moment in the Matrix where like Neo needs to find the key maker to unlock the door to go speak to the architect. Like, we're past that. We're not there. We're in the zone of what do you do when it feels like the exact prophetic nature of how you thought life was going to go didn't work out, but actually something maybe even better is coming in. And how to not self-sabotage that, like with the anti-self, by like doing stuff that might look smart because it's worked before, but it's spiritually dumb because your essence like knows better. So it's going back to the intuitive part. So let's see what we got for this week. I just had a shamanic deck handy. I think my tarot cards are in a different room. Yeah, that's a tough one. So I got the Witness card. but it was in the reversal position. So there's some medicine here. So I think, you know, to me, the witness card in reverse it's very South Node Virgo, Mercury, post shadow, Leo, trying to like teach the mind how to like create the life that's actually going to align with the passion, and where we start doing the exact opposite of what like Eckhart Tolle tried to teach, which is like you start believing you're the ego and the pain body, because the witness card is like the acceptance of the space that the mind and the ego has its thing, but like we're not that, we're something greater than that. And like when we're actually like being and doing from the place of the being that's more energetic, vibrational, human design related. But this witness reverse card like gets us into a space where it's like trying to control it. It's the mind thinking that it knows, like, and just pushes out any personal space holding for self, maybe even for others, right? And this is where you can start identifying with the criticisms and the judgments of things, the owies, I call them, the owl card. So we got to use our wisdom, and it's a spiritual wisdom. It's not going to be from the mind. So if you're looking for perfect answers, I would be like more so like going into like, how do I redesign my entire way of how I interface with life that's new and unknown and frequency based. That I said this I think in a prior video, but it reminds me of like, there's a term called walk-in soul, where it's like it's the same person, but their consciousness is different, because like that soul like left, and so the soul that came in, it might sound weird, like some, you know, fucking parasite takeover, but it's not. It's beautiful spiritual stuff where it's like that soul that walked in, they came in, just didn't want to have time to start all the way over from being a baby again and start all the way at the beginning. This reminds me of like almost that, but not fully, where it's like perceptions and engagements of reality change, and it's just a new sense of self, right? Like you're still like you can still have your memories and, you know, the understanding of what got you here, like, and so it's almost like we need that constitution, probably being that like wounded healer of sorts, but then like how to like make it easier, because like this is the time where it's kind of like going, hey, like, don't put yourself in a weird position just because you can and you feel like a little bit more freedom or flexibility on things and what you can do. It's like, go for the gold of like what that higher self achievement orientation is saying, which is like a greater expression of what's possible. And it's not about the how. It's really just about connecting with the courage this week of the frequency of that thing, because we never know. It's like we might just need to shift some frequency and some energy to help the thing be birthed or be created. Like it's not always about like picking up the fucking tool and just like hammering away and like not having the resources or the materials. And that's always going to be known going forward, because it'll feel like a dead end. Like the things aren't showing up, like things are not syncing up. So if you want some support, you want to connect deeper to the cycles that you're going into astrologically, or, you know, studying your human design, you want some energy work done, you know, you want to take more of the shamanic approach, you're getting stuck in some areas, you want to do some timeline work, right? Like past life stuff or future progression stuff, and the possibilities of what you can do, and kind of like more of a Dolores Cannon hypnotherapy realm. Hit me up for those. I appreciate you all. It's a lovely time. I know people are struggling. We're not gonna gloss over that. It's just more like, it's the awakening pains of, wait, what the fuck is going on? Where it's like, that's not consciously being said by people, but if you see people acting weird, it's the outer expression of frustration or anger or weirdness of like, they don't understand what's going on within them, and the shifts of the frequency. So put your best frequency out there. That's the way to show people, you know, just another unique way to live. Not the right way, but a way that's just different. So see you next time.